Good morning. Welcome to Axios Today. It's the 1st of September, and it's Tuesday. I'm Nyla Boodoo. China's influence on Hollywood is today's one big thing.
I've informed the Chinese government about the Meg.
But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, then none of this matters anyway.
We're the Wolverines, and we create chaos. We need to steal that weapon.
I don't know if you recognize those movies, but that's The Meg, The Martian, and Red Dawn. They've all come out in the last 10 years, and they have one thing in common. They were made with some form of influence from the Chinese government. Today, we're talking all about the relationship between Hollywood and China and how one controls the other.
The Chinese government, as I think everyone knows, censors everything. They censor movies, and they want to censor foreign movies that are shown in China.
Bethany Allen Ibrahimian has been reporting for Axios on how China has been playing an increasingly bigger role in American blockbusters. There's the obvious examples, like The Martian and The Meg, where the Chinese save the day. And then there's what's left out or changed.
So World War Z, which was a zombie flick, in the book, the zombie plague originated in China. The author of the book meant it as a political criticism, basically saying that the reason that the outbreak of the zombies was able to spread throughout China and the rest of the world was because it was covered up in China. But in the film, they erased any mention of that.
If we knew where this thing started, then we'd have a chance of developing a vaccine to stop it.
That is especially interesting in our world today because the coronavirus it first broke out in China. And indeed, because there was a cover-up and because there was censorship, that inhibited the initial response and it spread to the rest of the world. And so World War Z in particular shows how some of the artful explorations of, for example, censorship in China are not being explored in some of the most high-profile ways in the United States.
And the issue isn't that there aren't any Chinese villains. In fact, Bethany also spoke with Ann Kokas. She's a professor of media studies at the University of Virginia, about how damaging those kind of portrayals can be.
It's deeply dehumanizing when certain groups become the villains of choice by Hollywood studio films. What happens is a feedback loop in which U.S. foreign policy, particularly as it relates to the Middle East, can be very dehumanizing. And then when Hollywood studio films reinforce that, then it in some ways makes the case for more dehumanizing foreign policy in those regions.
Americans are not being exposed to a variety of viewpoints that could influence our national discussion about China and even make it more nuanced.
This influence is largely financial. China's box office is projected to surpass the U.S. soon and become the largest film market in the world.
Access to that market essentially can make or break the financial success of a major Hollywood film.
That's James Tager, who wrote a recent PEN America report on this very issue, titled Made in Hollywood, Censored by Beijing. He spoke with Bethany about how this need for American movies to break into the Chinese market has affected what movies get made.
What major Hollywood studio right now would make a movie about what's going on in Xinjiang with the internment of over 1 million Muslims? Think of all the other stories that the Chinese government has no interest in having be told.
When movies like that aren't made about China, it's denying many Americans the chance to participate on an emotional level with the things that Chinese people themselves have gone through, with the challenges that China is facing and the challenges that the entire world is facing as China grows and becomes more powerful.
Bethany Allen Ibrahimian covers China for Axios. We'll be back in 15 seconds to set the scene in Kenosha, Wisconsin, ahead of President Trump's visit today. Chevron has spent over $1 billion building one of the largest integrated carbon capture and storage facilities, capable of capturing up to 4 million tons a year. Learn more at chevron.com/possibilities. Welcome back to Axios Today.
Kenosha was something we did a good job on. The governor didn't want us there. He didn't want the National Guard, as you know. He was very reluctant, but I give him credit because ultimately he said yes. And as soon as he said yes, the problem ended.
Mark Guarino has been in Kenosha a lot the past week. He's a freelancer covering the region for the Washington Post. He's joining us now from Chicago via Zoom. Mark, can I start by asking you, what's the plan for today?
So the schedule today is the president